Creatures of the night, it's your girl Tati. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite. Is Wednesday, so y'all know what that means. Well, actually, yes, that means Dynamite is on, but also we had Rampage coming on right after. In my opinion, the show was mid, and reason why I think part of that is because the flow of the show. If it were me, if I was booking things, I would definitely have put things in different order and kind of not make it feel like we're just throwing things out there just to put out there. It was just, I don't know, it was a lot to take in tonight. Now, we did start off with Tony Khan at his office. He has his neck brace on, and he is letting everyone know that he's sorry that he can't be there. If he could be there, he would have been there, but doctor's orders, he couldn't be there. And while he's talking, the footage is glitching, and then we see Nicholas and Matthew. They done took over the show. They're saying, well, Tony Khan can't be here, we're next in line in terms of being EVPs, so we're gonna take over the show. Whatever. Now, we have Swerve Strickland and Prince Nana make their way to the ring. Swerve is going to announce who is going to be next in line to get a title shot for the world title. Now, he does start off with talking about the Young Bucks, and he mentions how what they did is a bitch-ass move and all that stuff. Basically what he said the last promo. And I find it interesting that once again he mentions it, but he brushes it off to talk about more important things. It's obviously about him being champion. So it makes me wonder, are we going to see something where Swerve is either going against the Elite, maybe being the leader of this group, or if he's going to join them? I don't know what the situation is, but I thought it was interesting. Now, once he talks about that, then he goes into talking about him being champion, and basically no one's going to be able to take that title off of him. And while he's talking, the Young Bucks interrupts him so that they can bring out his next challenger for the title. The way they described this person kind of sounded like they were talking about Jack Perry. And I was just like, Jack Perry? Jack Perry just got here. There's no reason why he should get a title shot. But then it turns out that they were talking about our stepdaddy, Christian. And I was just like, yes, I was marking out. I love Christian. You guys know I love Christian. He comes out with the whole patriarchy. He comes into the ring, and I'm just like, okay, he's gonna absolutely kill Swerve right now with a promo. But instead of saying anything, he takes the microphone and just jabs it into his fucking jaw, and then they start assaulting Swerve. Swerve does get a chance to do a little something to defend himself, but obviously him against the whole patriarchy was not going to help. And Prince Nana did do something to help, but that was not enough. They end up attacking Prince Nana as well. Now, oddly enough, where was the mobile embassy? Had no clue. They didn't come out. And Christian gets on the mic, and once again he comes out and say, hey, you talk about your daughter and how she barely knows you. After I'm done with you, she's gonna have a father that she deserves. And I was just like, this guy is so freaking wild. I love it. I don't know where Mogul Embassy was at, but next time they better come out. Now we do see Killswitch picks up Swerve, holds his hair, and it seems like he yanked out a dread from his head. A lot of people were not happy about that. I'm looking at it and I'm just like, well, it doesn't look real to me, but whatever. I'm actually really looking forward to see Swerve and Christian. I do think in terms of a match, in terms of a feud, I think a lot of people is going to enjoy this. I wish we had a little bit more time to cook up something between the two of them. Now, they do have a little history when Swerve had beat up Nick Wayne at his garage, and then the other time when they were tagging at All In, their team lost. So basically Christian's like, well, payback's a bitch. Now, we have our first match, which was Adam Copeland, Buddy Matthews. He was the one to take on the open challenge. And I'm not going to lie, the match started off slow for me. Then Buddy seemed to have gotten injured where he started bleeding out the mouth. Cervani was saying something about how he got hit in the abdomen and started coughing out blood or whatever he said. Doctors check on him during picture-in-picture. He doesn't look so great. And he decides to continue the match. And then for the rest of the match, you can see he's pretty winded. And I'm not gonna lie, even Adam looked winded too. Something just went left from there for me. We did see a couple of great spots here, but overall as a match, this is absolutely skippable. I didn't care for this. Adam Copeland takes the win. I hope they get a little do-over in the future at some point, but this was not my cup of tea. This match went on 20 minutes or so. It went on really, really long. And I don't know what it was, but it just felt a little off in the placement. Despite this being the first match, it felt like it was throughout the whole middle towards end of the first hour. It took up a lot of time. Now, Adam wins, and he decides that he's going to continue to attack Buddy Matthews. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I like this. I have no problem with this. But then the lights cut off right when he was going to give Buddy a concerto. And then Malachi is out, and Malachi is like, you know what? Hit him. And then Buddy is just sitting there like, hit me. And I'm just like, wait, what's going on here? And Adam seems to want to hit him, but apparently he kind of gets out of this mindset and decides not to. And then all of a sudden the lights goes off and House of Black is gone. Is Adam Copeland turning into like something because he got misted last week? Maybe that's the same thing we've seen them doing with Willow and Sky Blue. It will be interesting to see if they're going the route of having Adam Copeland join the House of Black. That would be very interesting. Up next, we had the real Manitoba Massacre match, which was Samoa Joe versus Isaiah Cassidy. This was so random, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Samoa Joe had the title. He lost it to Swerve. He comes back, his first match back. No shade to Isaiah Cassidy. He's cool as hell. However, I'm just wondering why Isaiah, of all people, like you were just champion. Something about that just was weird, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought that was a very strange matchup. It did take a little bit longer than what I thought. I thought it was going to be over in under a minute. I think it was more like 3 to 4 minutes. Samoa Joe wins with a muscle buster, and it was a devastating muscle buster. I mean, like, I'm watching it and I'm holding my back like, ouch, that hurts. And there was nothing really entertaining about this. This was Isaiah Cassidy getting his ass whooped 98% of this match. Nothing's too fun about this when you can't really do anything. And I don't know. Samoa Joe deserved better than this, especially someone who just had the title. Now, after this, we have Sky Blue, who challenges Willow Nightingale for the TBS title in a Manitoba Massacre match, which we had on Rampage. We'll get into that in a second. But then we have Orange Cassidy, who comes out, gets on the mic, and he doesn't look happy. And he goes, well, based off what happened during the match with Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor had to retire. And crickets. Let me tell you why there was crickets. Because Chuck Taylor, he's been out of action for so long that it felt like his ass already retired. So now we're supposed to feel some type of way, feel some type of sorrow for Chuck Taylor. Real or not, I don't know. But it just felt like, how could we feel like we're going to miss somebody who's already been missing for all this time? Didn't really make sense. Now, obviously, he's not happy about that. We do have Trent Beretta, who comes out, and these guys are on the microphone. And then Orange Cassidy is charging over to Trent Beretta, who's still on the stage, and they're about to fight, and the useless security guards come and keep them away from each other. Barely keep them away from each other. It had to take Chris Statlander to come out there to keep these two guys away from each other. And while that little fiasco hissy fit is going on, here comes Uncle Don to come separate them. Uncle Don ends up leaving with Orange Cassidy, and I'm just like, you got the wrong guy. Trent Beretta's right there. That's who you want to leave with. I don't know where they're going with this storyline. While I do think that the story isn't what I've been hoping and dreaming for the longest, I do feel like with Uncle Don being in this picture, it makes things interesting, especially now that Powerhouse Hobbs is out with an injury. Then maybe they might be recruiting a new member. I don't know. Orange Cassidy turning heel? That's like John Cena turning heel. I don't see that happening at all. Now after this, we got the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho versus Katsuyori Shibata for the FTW Championship. I didn't necessarily care for this. We did have Papa Jericho out in the front row watching his annoying son in the ring. But what I actually appreciated about this was that they were actually having an FTW rules match. It was an actual hardcore match. Now, this is different from Hook. For the majority of the time that Hook has had this title, he has not had FTW rules matches. And I've been complaining about that. Like, wait, you have the FTW title. Why aren't you having rules regarding that title? And for whatever reason, they haven't done that. But I can appreciate at least with Chris Jericho, sure. In this match, we do get to see Chris Jericho wearing trunks. When was the last time we seen? Maybe 2010 or something? I don't know. I was not feeling it. I was like, Chris Jericho, the trunks thing's not working for you anymore in 2024. But The match, I didn't care for it. There's no build up, no nothing. Shibata did show off that he can be a little bit funny or whatever. But everyone's tired of Chris Jericho. We're over it. Later on, Chris Jericho obviously retains the title. Later on, did he win? I think he won with, you know what? I don't care what he won with. He won the match and nobody cares. Later on, Big Bill is being interviewed back there and Chris Jericho comes out and say that he accepts Chris Jericho. He's the red oak tree or whatever the hell he called him, redwood tree, whatever. And basically saying, hey, I'll take you under my wing. And I'm just like, you take Big Bill under your wing? This dude is like twice the size of you. And plus, they just don't feel like a really great fit. But we'll see what ends up happening with these two being together. I'm not feeling it at all. Up next, we had Claudio Castagnoli versus Brian Cage. And I was really surprised to see this because I was like, wait a minute, don't we still have a women's match to go? And yes, we did. Now, this match was okay. Nothing extravagant to me. After seeing what we saw with Swerve and Claudio the other day, which was absolutely fantastic, this time, it just felt like a different type of pace. And yeah, Brian doesn't have like the same type of style as Swerve, so it's still different. It's not like it was bad. It just wasn't what I was hoping for at this point. And by this point, everybody named Mama was waiting to see our boy Kenny Omega. And it just seemed like, well, when is Kenny gonna come out here? I got to the point where I was just like, they probably ribbed us. Kenny will not be here. Now, we do have Claudio taking a win after doing a giant swing and turning that into a sharpshooter. And Brian Cage tapped, and I'm just like, Brian the Cage tapped? I don't see that. I something about it just didn't feel, I don't know. And on top of that, Brian was always losing. What is it? I love me BCC. I love Claudio. However, why does it always seem like the same guys are always losing? I mean, the same guys are always winning every single time. Every time. And the same guys that are always losing. Brian, we haven't seen him in a little bit. Last time we saw him, I believe, might have been when they lost the 6-man tag championships. And here he is again, losing another match. The next time we'll see him again, I bet you he'll be losing again. People don't want to keep seeing basically the same booking every single time. It's annoying. Brian is better than that. Now, Rocky Romero, he wants to go against Kyle O'Reilly at Rampage, so we get that a little bit later. And here we have Mariah May, Serena Deeb, last match of the night. The chemistry was not there for me. The chemistry between these girls were not there. They're the last match of the night, and I was hoping to see something a bit bigger from these girls. Serena Deeb is amazing in the ring. No personality. She's so boring. A lot of things were just not connecting between these two girls. And if you watch Mariah May outside of AEW, I feel like she's looked better in Stardom than how she's been looking in AEW thus far. And I know part of that reason is her being pretty much Toni Storm's shadow for storyline purposes, but she can be doing so much better in the ring. The chemistry was just not there at all. Serena wins with a half crab, and honestly, I just couldn't really get into it. Now up next, finally, with there being 4 minutes left of the hour, here's our boy, Kenny Omega. Oh, Lord have mercy. How dare he come out with a suit? Why couldn't he just have, like, I don't know, a suit jacket with no shirt under? Something like that. He comes out, and he looks great. Well, way better than last time we seen him, that's for sure. Now, he comes out and basically talking about how it's difficult for him to talk about injuries and illnesses and all that stuff. And he kind of gives everyone a little bit of 411 what's going on with him and how, you know, there's a possibility that he may never truly be able to get back in the ring the way he used to. Now, while he's talking about all that stuff, he's talking about how watching Swerve and watching Dynasty pay-per-view with, what's his name? Brian and Ospreay putting on an absolute banger, one of the best matches he's ever seen in his life. And if Kenny Omega says it's true, it's damn true. Now, when he goes on to talk about how he's the best bout of the business, best bout machine, I think he calls himself. Basically, he has pretty much almost all the best matches, and people love to see Kenny Omega for what he does in the ring. Now, here comes Kazuchika Okada, who comes out, who's not necessarily agreeing with that, who's saying he's the best bout machine now. You can go bye-bye, go home and be sick at home. Now, while he is talking to him, here is Jack Perry coming from behind and attacking Kenny. Now, Kenny is able to hold his own for a little bit before the numbers game start playing out. We do have the Young Bucks who come out and they end up giving him an EVP trigger just when he was trying to help himself up by holding onto the Young Bucks. You thought y'all was still friends, Kenny? I don't think so. Now, the whole thing goes on and then, obviously attacking Kenny, and then FTR comes out. It's always FTR. FTR to the rescue. They're always there. Now, they end up helping him. The medics take Kenny Omega to the back and the show finishes. But then it starts off like 2 seconds later with Rampage, and things are still going on from where they left off from. Kenny Omega is being taken into an ambulance. And while that's happening, the Elite, they come back for some more. They attack FTR and they attack Kenny Omega. They threw his ass off the stretcher and Kenny is just crying and he's in pain and he's bawling and all that stuff. And I'm just like, holy moly, this is good. It's good, chaotic, but good. Can't wait to see what happens now, because it looks like Kenny literally just gotten written off for good, at least for the foreseeable future. So now we got Rampage. We have our first match, which was Jay White versus Dante Martin. And we're like about 15 minutes or so into the show when we actually have our first match. And I'm just like, okay, I don't really see them truly going into overtime. I'm pretty sure we're going to end the show maybe having one less match or whatnot. Now, we do have Jay White and Dante, and this was a really great match. And I've been saying I want to see Jay White in singles action. And while they gave me what I wanted, I didn't really want them to sacrifice the guys that I like so that, Jay White can get all these W's. Now, really great match between the two of them. Dante is so amazing. No matter if he's doing singles, tag, or trios, he's really, really great. However, taking so many L's to help elevate a lot of these other wrestlers, it gets really tiring and old. You guys already know. Jay White ends up taking the win. A little bit weird though, something that was brought up during the watch along. Jay White has 3 titles. Obviously, he has the trios and he has the 6-man tag, but then he had another title with him, maybe from another promotion. I'm not sure. I didn't get a good look at it. And at first I was just like, maybe it's one of the Guns titles. But then the Guns come out and they have 2 titles each. And I'm just like, oh, where did this third one come from? I don't know. I would love to see him win singles titles, but it's just like, okay, you're beating everyone exactly like how we thought it would be. All the people who always loses are the people who's always going to lose. And Tony Khan, at some point, when are you going to look at this and just be like, shit, maybe we should do something a little bit different with these guys. Now, after this, we do have Kyle O'Reilly versus Rocky Romero. And I think for me, this was the best match of the night. These guys are so technical with each other. They're really great. And I mean, everything else that we saw throughout the night, while they were okay, I just felt like this was really great. And Kyle O'Reilly is showing up and showing out. And I really do enjoy that. He's been gone for about 2 years with a neck injury. There's been some unexpected bumps in the road with his healing process. But since he's been back, he's been putting on some really great matches. And I really do appreciate that. He had an interview thing with AEW on Sunday. And it was absolute joy to watch him. He was so funny, made me laugh. And man, I just love to see a little bit more personality with him on AEW, but he's really, really entertaining, and I love his style, and I can't wait to see what more they're going to be able to do with Kyle O'Reilly. I feel like it's just beginning with him. Like I said, best match of the night, Rocky Romero. Y'all know him. He is so good in the ring as well. I absolutely enjoy Rocky. So if any match should actually sit through from top to bottom, this is definitely it. Kyle O'Reilly takes the win, and I enjoyed that. Now, for our main event, we do have Sky Blue versus Willow Nightingale in a Manitoba Massacre match. I would say this would be for the FTW title, but you guys already know it's a TBS title. We've been seeing these girls doing more type of hardcore matches, especially Willow, and we've seen Sky Blue as well in these type of matches, and they've been killing it. And this is another really great one as well. While it was great, there were some hiccups here with these girls. Willow I feel like sometimes when she gets a little too excited, she just like misses the cues on certain things. So it's not as clean as it should be. But it was really great to see these girls put themselves in situations that I know I damn sure wouldn't. And when it comes to giving these hardcore matches, you know, I'm seeing them do their things, and I'm just like, some of these guys probably wouldn't do what they're doing either. So kudos to Sky and Willow for giving a pretty great main event for Rampage. We do have Willow, who obviously retains the TBS title. Sky Blue puts a cardboard that have barbed wires on it and puts that on a table, and then Willow gives her a Dr. Bomb onto the damn barbed wire that's on the table, and referee counts 1, 2, 3. Willow retains. This was great. We do have what's her name, Chris Statlander, who comes out to celebrate with her friend, because the Bucks did say earlier that if Stoltz or Chris Statlander is ringside, then Willow will automatically lose the title. So they weren't there during the match, but they came out after. And for a split second, I was just like, oh, Chris, maybe she's going to turn heel on Willow. But that didn't happen. And you know what? That's okay. We're going to get that sooner or later, I do believe. But you guys already know Willow will be going against Mercedes. TBS title will be on the line at Double or Nothing. We still got a few more weeks before that happens. Now, this was... a lot of the stuff was skippable. A lot of the clips, most of the clips are on YouTube, so y'all can just watch some of those clips, but I wouldn't recommend the whole 3 hours. Now, if you do watch my watch along, and if you don't, I don't know what's wrong with you. When we do the watch along, sometimes the shows are not that great. They're mid as hell, but just being together and just having a great time on a chat or whatnot makes the experience a little bit more fun. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'll be back tomorrow with, Ring of Honor. You know how we do things up in here. Bye.